This is Attorney Mike Grevin coming to you from Chicago, as usual, and today we're going to start a new series. We're going to call this one Wild Court Moments. Let's do it. Alright, this is a really cool clip. It was sent to me by a commenter, and I got it off a site called Priceless, so it kind of has a little bit of their stuff in there. I tried to go to the original video, but it was taken down. It also has a judge that we saw in Sovereign Citizen Court number 11. Links in the description below. Let's go.
An assault upon Mary Lindsay with the intent to commit great bodily harm less than the crime of murder. That is a felony punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $5,000. You're charged as a second habitual offender, making that a maximum 15-year offense. Who's handling this one? Deborah, are you doing it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so this one's a little more serious than our usual. Usually we're dealing with traffic offenses and all that stuff when it comes to sovereign citizens. This is a much more serious charge. And Judge Middleton's here again, and I liked him in the other video, and I like him even more in this one.
Prosecuting Attorney Assistant Deborah Davis is here on behalf of the people. Mr. Paul Gibson is here for the defendant, Mr. Harris. The complaining witness, Mary Lindsay, is here. We are live on YouTube. This is being recorded, and it's on the Zoom platform. Ms. Davis, ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lindsay, could you join us, please?
Yeah, sorry. I couldn't figure it out.
Do you have the ability to turn your camera on?
Oh, hold on a second. It just told me to unmute it.
There. Can you see me?
Yes.
All right. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Davis?
Thank you. Ms. Lindsay, would you state your full name and spell your last name for the record, please?
Mary Elizabeth Lindsay, Lindsey.
On that date, did you come into contact with a Kobe Harris?
I did.
And do you see Kobe in the virtual courtroom here today? And if you're on a phone, if you swipe
yes.
to the right, can you describe what he looks like or what he's wearing?
I was going to say, hold on. A gray hoodie.
Is there anything else identifiable about him?
Not wearing a hat, and he usually does.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that she has identified the defendant. I think he's the only one wearing a hoodie here.
Yes.
Okay, this whole thing fascinates me so far. We're having a criminal proceeding via Zoom. I think that's crazy. I think it's constitutional violation. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. They're following the procedure that's there, and that's what people are doing now. But you have the right to confront your accusers, and I don't think Zoom counts. Just one man's opinion. And this is where we get into, I don't know what depth to go into, because all of this I could talk about for a long time. That in-court identification, I don't think works if you're in court, but via Zoom and you're saying by process of elimination, it's the closest description, I guess. But that's where we are.
That's your short sleeve shirt, hoodie thing.
All right, thank you.
And Mary, on that day, was there an argument between you and Kobe?
Yeah.
And are you two in a dating relationship, or what is your relationship with each other on that day?
Yeah, we've been dating, yeah.
Okay. And do you have any children together?
We do not. We both have children separately.
Yeah, this is really really strange that this testimony, she's not making a lot of sense. She was reserved for some reason or off, and you can't tell if it's just the connection. The connection is bad, but you can only see a small portion of her face, and something's going on. And this gets back to, I don't mean to make it a rant about that, but it gets back to, you can't, how do you judge the credibility of a witness via Zoom? They can have a bad connection. They could even try if they want to. They could use filters, or they could just manufacture things. A lot of these things come down to witness credibility and the vibe and what's going on in the interaction in the room. And I understand the circumstance we're in, but this Zoom is not a substitute for a courtroom.
And on that day, do you remember what time you were at your apartment with Mr. Harris?
I think it was like kind of later in the evening. Not super late, maybe like 8 or 9.
And that apartment, just to clarify, is in Sturgis, correct? In St. Joseph County, Michigan?
Yes.
And what were you and Kobe arguing about, if you remember?
It was just that we weren't, I had said I wasn't going to come back to the apartment, so he was there, and so then, that kind of initially just had started the argument.
And during the course of the argument, what happened?
It wasn't even a very long argument. We just kind of both got really angry. It was just kind of like an accusative argument, just like, I don't know.
Mary, did the police come to your apartment that night?
They did, yeah.
And why did they come to the apartment?
Because the police were called, so they came here.
Who called the police?
Technically me.
I've been doing this for a long time, but it doesn't take a seasoned attorney to see that that's an evasive answer. Who called the police? You know who called the police. If that answer just doesn't come right out of you, you're holding back something. And you have to keep in mind now, she's a complaining witness. She's not been charged with anything here.
Okay. And when the officers arrived, what did you tell them had happened?
Objection, Your Honor. I think that's asking for hearsay. I think when she asked what happened, not what she said that day, because that would be hearsay, what she said that day. So just asking for her to repeat
Your Honor,
what she said out of court.
Again, so much to unpack here. We get back to the Zoom thing. There's a defense attorney in here who just made a hearsay objection. She asked her witness what she told the police. The defense attorney is making a hearsay objection. That's an out-of-court statement offered for the proof of the matter asserted. And, it's a bad objection. It's wrong. In fact, the prosecutor cracks me up. She is sharp as a tack, I can tell. She cracks me up. She's shaking her head. But you can't even see or, frankly, hear the hearsay objection. The only reason I know what it is because I already know what they would say. I can barely make it out, but you can't even see their face. This process is, it's got to be temporary at best. It does not work.
okay, number one, Your Honor, I have reason to believe that the defendant is in the same apartment as the complaining witness right now, and I'm extremely scared for her safety. And the fact that she's looking off to the side and he's moving around, I want some confirmation that she is safe before we continue. And that wasn't hearsay.
I know, this is a serious situation. It is. But here's what I have to say to your hearsay objection. I think the defendant is in the same house violating his bond as the complaining witness. And by the way, it's still not hearsay.
Get to that in a few moments.
Miss Lindsay, where are you right now?
I'm at a house.
What's the address?
It's my house.
What's the address? Mr. Harris, where are you?
703 East Lafayette, Your Honor.
All right, what are you on, a laptop or a phone?
Me?
Yes.
Phone.
All right, I want you to walk out to the front of the house, show me the house number on the house.
I am impressed with Judge. Nice work. He makes him confirm that he's on a phone because he sees that the guy's at the same house. And then right afterwards, he asks him to go out and show him the house number. The expression on the defendant's face says it all.
Why? I don't even think this phone has the charge for that, sir. I'm at like 2% right now. I'm hooked up to this wall charger right here.
Your Honor.
We're knocking at the door right now for Miss Lindsay.
What?
The police are at Miss Lindsay's apartment right now, knocking on the door.
All right. Ms. Lindsay, would you go answer the door?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
You take your phone with you so that I know you're okay.
Fine.
Over here.
We may need to adjourn this, Your Honor.
So it appears Mr. Harris is there at that house.
I believe so, Your Honor. We would ask that his bond be canceled.
Yeah, so we'll confirm what we're going to find here.
Wow, that is just crazy, and it gets back to you need live court for serious matters like this. And I understand why we're doing what we're doing, but it's not a permanent solution. You see the judge there. You know, she just asked to revoke bond basically because I'm sure he was out on bond and he's at the house, and he says, well, let's confirm it, but yes. And it's just one of the strangest things I've ever seen.
This is a issue we didn't have when we had live court. This is the first time, to my knowledge, if he is in the same venue, that this has occurred. Kudos to the Sturgis Police Department for following up on this. Let's see if someone can log in. Officer Edgington, do you have contact with Sergeant Marsh?
I can try to give him a call.
Yeah, would you please?
Your Honor.
Yes?
Mr. Milton?
Yes.
Mr.
Who am I
Milton?
speaking? Yes, who am I speaking with?
Toby.
Yes?
Your Honor, me and Mary both don't want the no contact.
I know it's serious, I do, but him coming on camera with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth under the circumstances is just deliciously awful.
I asked if that be dropped. I'm sorry I lied to you. I knew the cops were outside. I don't know why I lied to
Mr.
you.
Harris, my advice is don't say anything else. Take the cigarette out of your mouth. The hearing is adjourned. your bond is canceled. If you have $10 million, you can't bond out. In addition, the prosecutor is probably also going to charge you with obstruction of justice. It may be a situation of you and Mary want the bond conditions lifted, you want them lifted. She does not. We're serious as a heart attack. It's the first time I ever had anybody sitting in the next room potentially intimidating a witness and assault great bodily harm.
Well, it was a long time ago, but I've dealt with this very situation, not on Zoom, in actual court. In fact, right around the time I started doing that, this was a long time ago, Illinois changed the law, and they changed the rules regarding hearsay because we could never get witnesses to show up later. So in these sort of domestic scenarios like this, the boyfriend or husband would beat his wife or his girlfriend up, and she would come in and complain and have a broken arm and everything else. And, 2 weeks later, when you needed their testimony to do something about it, they've changed their mind and they got back together. So we actually had a change in the law where you could get around hearsay and use the statements given at the time so that you could prosecute it. And this gets back to a lot of things, but it's a crime against the people of the state of Illinois, where I was, or the people of the state of Michigan in this circumstance, and the victim does not get to choose whether or not the perpetrator gets prosecuted. That's just how the system works.
All right, don't say any more about it. Your bond is canceled. You're digging your hole. You've hit bottom and you're continuing to dig. Officers are directed to take him into custody on a bond violation. Bond is canceled. We will reschedule this hearing for another date. Ms. Lindsay, the prosecutor's office will be in contact with you to reschedule this. Mr. Gibson, I know that was all completely outside of your knowledge or consent. And let's continue this for 2 weeks to my next duty week, which would be March 16th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If you wish to have it earlier, Ms. Davis, you can contact us. I'm assuming.
This point, and Mary, I will give you a call.
All right, Ms. Lindsay, you're in a very difficult position there. The prosecutor's going to be calling you. I've continued this for 2 weeks. Kobe's bond is canceled.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, does that complete all of our cases for the day?
It does.
I suppose we need to arraign him on the bond violation tomorrow. That's the first time I ever saw it happen live and in person. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Ms. Lindsay, I want you to discuss this further with the prosecutor. He may have some new charges,
Can you put
all right.
Lindsay and I into a breakout room?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me close them.
And Officer Edgington, I'll call you after.
Thank you.
All right, this matter will be adjourned, theoretically rescheduled for the 16th of March at 1 p.m.
Well, there you have it. Thank you, commenter David Dominguez, for sending that to me. That was truly fascinating, and you just see what happens there. I was very impressed with the prosecutor, who was in the middle of conducting a hearing and asking questions, clearly in contact with law enforcement while she was doing it, either via text or an earpiece or something. And the judge, who handled it very, very smoothly under the circumstances. In fact, he determined, that he had a phone and was sending that out there. So, it's just a crazy situation. They think they can just do that and get away with it, and he probably could usually, except they were onto this situation, and the defendant has messed up. I mean, he's got a bond violation on recording. Yeah, they have the police officer walk into the thing, so his bond's revoked. He's going back to jail. He's gonna probably get an additional charge of obstructing justice, and they think that if he thinks somehow that if he can talk her out of, cooperating, that he's out. Well, not now. He's not been caught with independent verification. So, fascinating clip.
Here at Law Talk, we do a lot of videos answering common legal questions. We also do reviews of law in the movies and then on TV. We also share some of our more interesting cases. We're always putting out new videos. So if you like that, please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell.